the golden ingredient to retirement is compounding. And compounding doesn't happen overnight. Compounding takes time, an average of 20 to 25, if not 30 years, to build a substantial amount. It means you have to start as early as 18.
Hello, viewers. Welcome to the Wisdom Bank podcast show. Today, I'm so thrilled and so happy to host Mr. Bruno in the studio today. Mr. Bruno, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. What an honor. Dear viewers, Mr. Bruno is a financial consultant. He's an author, a motivational speaker. And he also helps in so many different dimensions: business, entrepreneurship, and many more. His bio will be listed in the description of this video. So if you need more of his services, please contact him. Mr. Bruno, thank you so much for the services that you render to the community.
Appreciate it.
And for what you do. Thank you so much. Today we're going to be touching on some very important topic where, still under financial literacy. And we're going to be looking at retirement at the age of 18. So, looking at planning how to retire at the age of 18. I'm going to lay the grounds here from a statistics that I read. Doing research, I came across this data from Bank of America. It says, parent trap. Nearly half of adults in the Gen Z category, right? They need financial help from their parents. Here's the breakdown. As of 2025, 46% of Gen Z ages 18 to 27, they heavily depend on financial assistance from their parents. It went further to say 50% of Gen Z, they don't have savings that they can boast of their own. And then they start saying, thinking of retirement, 46% to 40%, they don't have what can take them to just a couple of months down the line. I'm just trying to give you a summary of the statistics, but so that you can see how important this particular topic is. As a financial literacy and as a financial consultant person, define me what is retirement.
Well, thank you so much. Again, a topic that is heavily ignored, but very important.
That's very important.
Growing up, the word retirement was only talked of by old people. When I say old people, I mean people with gray hair already, most likely in their 70s or late 60s. When you heard someone was retired, they're done.
Right.
They're tapped out. And, over time, that's what I perceived retirement to be. And knowing what I know now, my idea of retirement was work until you can't work anymore, and then you can take a break. And then you live off of what you have put together during your years of working. But right now, I would define retirement as a point in time when you have enough savings and or investments that can sustain your lifestyle. I say a point in time because I don't want retirement to be tied to an age.
Thank you.
Because that's the capital mistake a lot of people make, is tie retirement to a particular age. So you ask someone, when do you want to retire? Which I do a lot. When I consult with young people in their mid to 20s, 30s, 40s, I say, when do you want to retire? Everyone says 65. Because that illusion of 65 is the retirement age is so deep into everyone that we just know it's the norm.
Right.
Yeah, but I've seen way more people retire in their 20s, in their 30s and 40s, some in their 50s, and most people never retire at all. just from the statistics you're saying. It says about 40-something%. I think
Yes.
I think the reality is way more than that.
It's way more than that.
60, if not 70,
Yes.
70% of people are not going to retire. And this is not throwing shade to anybody, but that is just the fact.
Look, data speaks for himself. So before this is, viewers, this is a research that you can also do by yourself. First of all, this is an educative podcast, and we try to bring value to the community, so you can go deeper into this, and also you feel free to fact check us, right? Yes, so very important. You mentioned a very, very important point there. You've sat down with a lot of people, and there are people retiring at that early stage. My question I want to ask you is this: how does starting early change someone's financial future as compared to starting at the age of 40?
As I say, it's everything. It's everything, because the golden ingredient to retirement is compounding, and compounding doesn't happen overnight. Compounding takes time, an average of 20 to 25, if not 30 years, to build a substantial amount. It means you have to start as early as 18 years. So I love the fact that we're talking about retiring at 18.
Right.
Because if you don't start planning at that early, which it doesn't matter how much you're putting away, but start as much. You want compounding to work for you, not against you. And compounding takes time. And what you have at 18 compared to someone at 50 is time.
It's time. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
From 18, if you start, no matter how small, putting things together, there's a statistic. I don't know where it's a book I've definitely come across. And the numbers may not be accurate, but it said if you start at 18 and you save or invest for 10 years, for example, from 18 to 28, let's say you put together, for example, $30,000, right?
Yes.
In 10 years.
Yes.
You stop at 28 and you never save again, and you just rely on compounding. Another person starts at 40, for example. Let's say you started saving $50 a month. The numbers may not be accurate, but just understand the psychology behind it.
Right.
That's $50 a month, and you save for just 10 years. Someone starts at 40, saving $1,000 a month. All right?
Yes.
$1,000 a month, and save for even longer, say 20 years. Both of them are going to retire with the same amount.
Wow.
Yes. Because at 40, you have less time to compound the money compared to at 18 or 28. If our retirement goal is 65,
yes,
we're going to retire with the same amount, if not me with more, just because I started early. So starting early is as important as the word important.
So the age 18 defines your entire life.
Definitely.
So
you can either make or break your entire future
at the age of 18.
At the age of 18.
So this is a very, very interesting data that we are putting out here, because at the age of 18, right, we look at life from a different perspective. I haven't enjoyed my life. I need to party. I need to, you understand all those things. So I want you to zoom this in for me. What mindset shift must young adult do to take retirement seriously?
I believe you can't do what you don't understand. And a lot of kids at 18 have zero clue of what finance is all about. All they care about is make money, go spend with my friends. And they're totally fine with it, because that's what they know. That's what they've been exposed to. So it has to start earlier than that. I teach a class. from 6. I say 6 because at 5 you're still kind of
right.
From 6, I think you can reason to a degree.
Right.
So I teach a class from 6 to 18. And I have kids just jump on Zoom and I teach them basic financial tips, right? What is saving? What is investing? How can you budget? The little things.
Right.
And they find it very entertaining because I offer prizes, but I'm slowly planting seeds of, have to start understanding these words or these terminologies, because no one else is going to teach you this in high school, by the way. And if you don't learn in high school at 18, you're going to college with zero financial exposure. So you literally mess up your life at 18 because you have no background. So I say the genesis is from when they can start understanding whatever, right? And that's one of the reasons why I actually put this book. If I can tell the
Yes.
behind this book is,
Yes.
I have a dear friend to me. They have kids.
Yes.
They live just close to me. They have kids who are in their teens. I went to go visit this evening, and they asking, Uncle Bruno, what were you doing? I said, I was in a meeting. They said, what meeting? Oh, I was educating a family. They said, educating them on what? I said, financial literacy. And then I asked the daughter, who I think at the time was 13, if I'm not mistaken, 13 or 14. I asked her, what is savings? And she looked at me. She probably thought I had 10 heads. She had no idea what I was asking her. I said, what is savings? How about investing? She had zero clue. Do you know what a budget is? Mm-mm. No. That inspired me to put this book together. She inspired this book. And I put it in a language that even kids at 8, at 5 can already start picking up. The beginning of the book just has definition of terminologies for that reason. Because I wanted kids to just open it and understand what is a saving, what is retirement, what is budgeting, what is, just know what it is.
Very
That's
important.
enough exposure.
Yes. Dear viewers, the link to this book is gonna be in the bio of this video. So it's also available on Amazon.com. I want to bring you back to that statistics.
Yeah.
Remember, it says parents trap.
Exactly.
So it's very important that the rule of parents at the age of 18 would define how far and how soft landing their kids will learn in their old age. So I want you to zoom in and bring in the side of the parents. What role do parents have to pave for their kids so that they can really understand and, drive themselves towards retiring as from the age of 18?
I'm gonna bring you a quote from the late Dr. Miles Monroe.
Yes.
He said, if you know nothing and you teach your kids what you know, your kids are just as smart as you. And so that just tells you that kids at 18 are not going to learn anything if the parents don't teach them, because school is not going to do it.
That's right.
Friends at 8, friends are not going to do it either. Community is not going to do it. Right? We have people like you right now and some, kind-hearted people who are now putting content out there that kids can go watch and learn things or two. But they don't have this background. So it falls heavily on the parents. You got to educate yourself first. Just like when you get in a plane and you find anywhere else, the air hostess, they tell you in case of an emergency, help yourself first. Put on your mask, then you can help anyone else, even your kid. So it falls heavily on the parents to educate themselves. Because if the kids don't see you saving, if you don't even talk about saving, if they don't see you investing and you don't even talk about investing, they don't see you talking about retirement or bringing that into their consciousness or making them aware that there is such a thing as retirement or such a thing as saving or investing, that you have to start thinking of or doing. Because kids are going to learn more by watching you do things.
Yes.
Just tell them.
Yes.
Those kids are very rebellious. I remember when I was, young.
Right.
I would rebel almost against everything my parents said. But if they can see you do it, and kids are they're very observant.
Very observant. That's right.
They capture things you have no idea. And if they see you do something, they're going to model after you. So it is very important that the parents play a vital role of educating themselves, and then passing that knowledge on to, their kids. So that by 18, because we are very particular about 18, because 18 is when they actually leave your house. 18 is when they're out in the world, going to college, doing anything that is out of your control anymore.
That's right.
So while you have the legal control, so to speak, between ages from when they are born all the way till 18, when they can legally make their own decisions,
right,
you have the mandate to prioritize education. Not just, they're going to learn everything else in school.
Right.
But financial education has to come from the home.
Very important.
It's not anywhere else.
Very important.
Yeah.
Look, you mentioned a very, very important point, but I want you to zoom out a little bit. Mm-hmm. Okay. You've missed it at 18. You are either in your, let's say, early 30s or late 30s, how can this particular aspect, this particular topic of retirement, right? How can you, as a financial consultant, draw someone's attention and help him reclaim the wasted years from his age of 18? How can you roll that dice?
It's never too late to start. I say the best opportunity you have is the gift of today. So if you wake up and you're 40 and you've not done anything right, you start at 40. The mistake is assuming, well, I've not done it right, so what is the need?
What's the need? Yes.
It's never too late. Wherever you find yourself, you can start from there. So you wake up, you're 35, you're 40, and your finances are not in place. Your retirement is not in check. You have to, first of all, know what your retirement target is. The numbers speak for themselves. They say people lie, but numbers don't. People lie, numbers do not. And I'm going to show you for example. So you have to know this golden number. When do you want to retire? When do you want to consider yourself retired, so to speak? Which means you're not working anymore and you're now depending on what you've saved or invested to sustain you. So you're not actively going to work. All right. So let's say your golden retirement ages. Let's use what everyone else think is the norm.
Right.
65.
65, yes.
So you're 40 and your plan is to retire in 25 years at 65.
Yes.
My question for you listening or anyone else is, how much would you want to make when you're retired in terms of annual expenditure? Let's say in a year, your expenses, travels and bills and everything else cost maybe, let's round up to $50,000.
Right.
So if at 65, you still want to have $60,000 every year, let's extend your life expectancy to 85. That's 20 years.
Right.
So from 65 to 85, and if you have a calculator, you can punch those numbers in. That is $50,000 a year for 20 years. That's $1 million.
Right.
So my question for you at 40 is, if you start at 40, in the span of 25 years, you need to save or invest or have $1 million by the time you hit 65 years old. So the question becomes, how much, if I can run that.
Run the numbers.
How much would you have to be putting away every year or every month? We're going to break it down to every month. So you start at 40, right?
Right.
You put in, so you need $1 million. You need $1 million by 65.
Right.
Okay. So you need $1 million saved up by 65. So that's $1 million divided by how many years? You're 40, so that's 25 years.
By 25 years.
By 25 years. So you need to be saving $40,000 every year.
Whoa.
To have $1 million by
65.
65. Okay. So $1 million every year divided by 12.
Right. In a month.
Every month you have to be saving 3,300 and some change to meet that target. Anything short, you're not gonna hit that target.
So let me. I love those numbers. Are we talking here of savings only or investment?
This is just saving.
Just saving.
If you want to have $1 million and you're depending on your own effort, we're not talking about appreciation or interest or
yes.
That.
Yes.
Just your part. And I'm gonna touch on if you were gonna invest this.
Yes.
Then that's
we're just talking here on savings alone.
Savings alone.
I want you now to lay the ground on some key steps, though you are saving to retire at 65, right? We are giving an assumption.
Yeah.
I want you to factor other factors. Factor in some key factors that, even though you are aiming at 65 while saving, right, are also going to be like a stumbling block, which takes me to my question. Next question on wealth. Because you don't need to retire on savings. How can you, through your retirement, build your wealth through it?
So, these numbers, just like we just did, is giving you perspective. So for anyone listening and your goal was to retire at 40, let's say you're currently 30. And if I ask you what is your retirement age, you tell me 40. You do the math. If you're 40 and your life expectancy is 85, that's 45 years. So you can run the numbers for yourself as well. How much do I have to be saving from 30 years old to 40 or investing to be able to call myself retired? And guess what? We're talking about $1 million. That's $50,000 a year. So if you plan to retire on more, let's say 100,000 a year, the number just doubled to 2 million.
Right.
Right. And so I mean, you can reverse engineer what we just did. But the goal for retirement anyway is that you don't do the work. You don't do all the work yourself. That's why you have systems. And
Right.
that's why you have the market, you have the stock market, you have 401ks. These are all systems that can help you propel your retirement journey. We have real estate. We have business things you can put this money in, so you can do maybe half the work, and those systems do the remaining. So, for example, if you wanted to get the $1 million, you can probably come up with 500,000, then hope and pray that the system you're using can double the amount by the time you get to 65.
The car.
Exactly.
So I want to use Ferrari or Lamborghini.
Yeah. So you got to choose, and there are a lot of things that come into retirement anyway that a lot of people overlook. Aside from the tools, right? Like investing, because when we look at the stock market has returned an average return of about 8 to 10% averagely for the past 20 years or so.
You are touching a very important point, which was one of my questions that I wanted to ask you. I touched it a little bit, but I want it to be more specific right now, right? Meeting an 18-year-old, are you going to encourage him to save more or to invest more?
Invest. No questions about it.
Break it down.
Invest, because the whole purpose of investing, by the way, is for appreciation.
Right.
You invest in assets that can appreciate. All right. Saving, to me, basically is just keeping money aside for a rainy day. Could be for an emergency. Could be for a project you want to do in a very short-term project. But investing is something for the long term. Mm-hmm. So at your early ages, even if you invested in an asset that totally crashes or whatever, you have time to recover. So at 18, even heading on to your 50s, invest heavily and invest in appreciating assets. Right?
When you say appreciating assets, zoom in and break down some of those appreciating assets.
So generally, the stock market has been considered one of the best appreciating assets out there. Mm-hmm. Now, there are different nuances to the stock market, but talk of index funds, talk of ETFs, talk of individual stocks, right? Yeah, there are, and most recently, cryptocurrency, which is widely considered volatile, but some people still dabble into that anyway. But real estate over time has been considered one of the best performing assets comparatively, because real estate can steadily, first of all, keep the value, right, comparatively. Right. And then appreciate over time. So real estate has been considered that. But someone at 18 probably don't have enough capital to buy real estate. So you're definitely going to rely on the market somehow. Maybe not directly, but you can rely on putting your money in index funds or leveraging high yield savings. All right, high yield savings account with your banks. Just to start with. And I think the last time we mentioned that saving, it's a habit that you have to cultivate.
Right.
And you start with the least amount possible. Doesn't matter how small it is.
It's just consistency.
Just the consistency. And when you build that habit, it's going to be easier for you to do it. So at 18, I recommend kilos. Now you can own a brokerage account. You can own an account with Fidelity or with
wow.
You can get an account with Fidelity. And if you don't have a job, so to speak, if you have a job, most jobs offer you a 401k.
Yes.
All right. Which can get you started. But if you're thinking of actually, in my people, it gets you started, but it's not going to get you there. Because you can look at the statistics of people who have done what they were told to do, put money in 401ks, put money in IRAs, but still retire broke. Doesn't mean the system, the tools did not work. It means it gets you started.
But it doesn't get you there.
It doesn't get you there because if I can stretch it a little further, it's this. 401ks are dependent on market performance. which means, yes, your money is sitting in 401k, but it's dependent on how the market performs over your lifetime, of course. And if things were to go south, like if it's done a couple of times, when COVID-19 hit in 2008, in 2001, when this heavy stock crashes happened, a lot of people lost their 401k entirely. Right. So if your entire savings and or investments is in a bucket like that, and in 2008,
right, the financial
right,
crash.
So even the real estate. So it gets to a point where even real estate. Imagine if you had all your retirement in real estate and it crashes overnight, and the value of the house drops from say 300,000 to down to 100,000, you've lost your life savings.
Wow.
Right. So it comes with, you have to strategically position your money in multiple tools that can sustain and or build the wealth that you require to retire on. All right. I'm going to get into some very specific, because again, like I said, it's you look at, history is a great teacher.
Right.
You look at what people have done that have not worked. Now you can learn from your own mistakes. You can leverage other people's mistakes and not do the same things anyway. So I look at statistics of people in their 60s, 70s, when I sit down to learn from them. All right. Jim Rohn said, if you want to be rich, read books from successful people, but also read books from unsuccessful people, so you can learn what they did, and so you avoid doing it. So it's not just learning from
successful people. Yes.
Observe and study what unsuccessful people have done, so you don't make the same mistake, right? And so you can learn a lot from just talking to people who have gotten there to 65 and done everything by the book. They're saved in their 401ks. They're saved in their quote-unquote retirement buckets, but still retire broke.
You are bringing me to a question that I had for you.
Mm-hmm.
The vehicles that we use towards the same destination differs.
Definitely.
Let me bring it down. If we're traveling from here, let's say from here to New York or to any part, right? We take a ship. We're going to the same destination. The speed is not going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
If we're driving, you have a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or a Bugatti. Those are sports cars. Someone has an SUV. Someone has a sedan. The same destination, we're not going to get there the same way. Mm-hmm. Someone is flying. These are multiple buckets that I've put.
Mm-hmm.
As an 18-year-old sitting in front of a financial consultant, break it down. What are the recommended cars that you can, table before an 18-year-old saying, hey, use this car. This is going to lead you to this destination. When talking to them about retirement, what are those, different moves or different investment tools, or just break it down that can really guide them to successfully retire with no pains or regret?
So at 18, what I'm trying to do with you at 18 is just help you understand. All right. I'm just helping you to understand the importance of saving and or investing. So I'm recommending something you can do easily, which is, in my opinion, open a savings account, first of all, or open an account at the bank. I first of all want to teach you the discipline of putting money away and not be in a hurry to get it out. So that's what I want to teach you first.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Delayed gratification.
Oh.
Because if I just say go invest, the next time your friends call you, let's go out, you're going to go pull out that money.
Right.
I want to teach you the discipline of delayed gratification. So open an account, you have your checking, you have your savings. Let's start putting $10 away a week or a month. All right. And let's do that consistently for like 6 months. I want to understand your discipline, if you can. Then let's do it for another year. The reason I want you to save up at least, let's say $500 is because when you have saved that much, then we can open a brokerage account for you. That's the path I'm taking them through. We can open a brokerage account for you first, then I can start educating you on what is an index fund. How does it work? What are ETFs, right? I want to take you there and just start teaching you the basics of what is an S&P 500. right? What is what is like index fund?
NASDAQ.
What does it entail? NASDAQ, all of that. Before I even get there, I just want you to understand what is a stock. How does a stock perform, right? But I don't want us to start buying individual stocks yet,
Right.
because what I don't do is discourage you. And if I pour that information to you too fast, you get discouraged. Because imagine
It's voluminous.
If I tell you, yeah, it's volatile. If I tell you let's buy an Apple stock, and you happily do it, then you wake up the next day, you put $500, and it's now down to $200. That discourages you from even doing anything. So I want to first of all use items that can slowly appreciate, which are, in my opinion, the best vehicles anyway. I love this quote. It says, "The fastest way to build wealth is slow."
Wow.
Yes.
The fastest way
To
to
build
build wealth
Is-
is slow. Break it down.
Slow and steady. You know, a lot of people want things fast. That's why they end up losing a lot of money.
Ooh.
All right. I remember back in 2018, 2019, when I was crazy enough to put my money in the stock market and buy individual stocks. Now, prior to that, I was investing.
Wow.
Not trading. Investing is different from trading. Two different things. I was putting my money in assets, and my goal was to let it sit there for multiple years and appreciate naturally. And if you study the most successful people, that's what they've done with their businesses, with their investing. Warren Buffett is a clear example. This gentleman started investing in his
At 11.
11,
Yes, at age of 11.
and most of his wealth came when he was above 60.
That's right.
So think about the discipline of waiting that long to see significant results. But very few people can wait a year. They want to see returns now. That's why they're eager to go put money in individual stocks. Which stock is going to appreciate tomorrow? I want to trade instead of invest. And trade, so it ends up chopping most of your money, and that's why crypto is so in the limelight right now, because people want to make money fast, and that's why they fall into scams and all whatnot.
That's right.
If you can develop the self-discipline and delay gratification, you are going to build wealth if you just give it enough time.
You know, in our last show, you mentioned something which I had to re-listen to the show again. You said wealthy people, they don't time the market.
Mm-hmm.
They stay in the market.
They spend time in the market.
They spend time in the market, but an average man time the market, which is very, very risky.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taking me to ask you this particular question. Many people at 18, they don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to bring in the risk aspect of planning for retirement at the age of 18, because it's risky and it's risk of not taking risk.
Mm-hmm.
So break it down in the simplest way, and I'm going to slot in one aspect of which at the age of 18 is calling your name, especially if you are in this part of the world. And that is, how at the age of 18 will student loan tamper or harm your retirement plan?
Now, I love this quote. It's associated to Albert Einstein. And it says, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. And it can either work for you. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it.
Oh,
Yeah. So I paraphrase that to say it can either work for you or against you. And most student loans compound. Most of them. So which means if you get to 18 and say, mommy and daddy were not financially, forward thinking to have put something aside in terms of college fund for you.
right.
And you don't get any scholarships, which means you have to pay out of pocket. And you still want to go be a doctor, just like you promised yourself. It's going to cost you an average of $150,000 to $200,000 to be a doctor. So at 18, you're faced with starting med school or going to college to pursue your goal of becoming an attorney, an engineer, a doctor, is going to cost you a couple of $100,000. So that alone already hinders your retirement to a degree. Not all the way, of course, because
Right.
like in my book I talk about good debt and bad debt.
Right.
Student loans can be good debt if it goes towards a degree that pays you significantly more. It can be bad debt if you pursue a degree or that doesn't pay you as much, right? So, yeah, student loans are definitely going to may. I want to be, I don't want to be
Specific.
may hinder your retirement because what I've observed and what I see is a lot of adults, because we're talking of 18.
Yes.
Before you know it, you're 25 and you're done with college. Now you have to face life.
The reality.
Right? The reality is you're done with college. You have $100,000 in debt. You start working, and when you're in school, the school loans the interest is paused. Immediately you graduate, it starts compounding, right? So from 25, you have 100,000. Now you're focused on paying off that loan alongside, credit cards, because a lot of students end up in a lot of credit card debt. That's one thing we're not even touching on. They end up in a lot of credit card debt because in school there's no parental supervision.
Right.
There are banks everywhere on campus. There are agents giving them, the information on why a credit card is important. And they're hanging out with friends who are going out every now and then, spending money they don't have, so they're going to take those credit cards and spend
And swipe.
in school.
Right.
So by the time they graduate college, it's not just student loans, it's equally a lot
Credit
of debt
cards.
that I'm bringing up, which then start hindering their ability to
Start thinking of retirement.
statistics.
Yes.
Buying a home, planning for retirement, planning a family. You mentioned that statistic from Bank of America. There's a lot that it does in the back end to even coming up with that statistic, right?
Look, I give you a summary,
Definitely.
right? Down into that statistics, right? They mention that it's a very sad situation. When you go deep into that statistics, viewers, do your research, especially if you really want to plan your life, do it well. They went further by saying many Gen Zs, based on these statistics, they don't want to get children.
They don't want to. It's not that they hate kids. Of course they do.
Yes, they love kids.
They cannot afford to take care of themselves.
Down the line, they said 67 of Gen Zs have moved back into their. This statistics has. I went also and I looked at Wells Fargo. They were also doing the same. It's very alarming. We really need financial literacy. We really need to really understand some of the mistakes. 18 is a very crucial stage in life. So everything is calling your name, calling your attention, and we are missing it. So to get it right, it's very important that we address this. They went further in that same statistics, and they said that many wish they were not even born. I was like,
Yeah.
because we say, take us back in the days of our parents, where 10,000 had value, but that's no more the case today. I know you have seen so many people that have sat before you and you have heard so many of these things, which takes me to a very, very important aspect of this show. What financial habits separates financial, what are the financial habits that will separate you and pave your way to retire successfully at the age of 18? What are those habits that you can instill in an 18-year-old that will help guide him so that he doesn't miss it?
Discipline definitely comes, top tier. Discipline, delay gratification. In my once a month class with kiddos, I teach them the aspects of delay gratification. Would you rather have one popsicle right now or wait till evening to get 4? Because that's the whole concept of delay gratification.
Wow.
Would you rather have a popsicle right now or wait till evening to get 4? Or better still, wait till the weekend to get a whole pack
Of it.
or wait till a whole month to get the equivalent,
box.
to get a whole box, or wait a whole year to get a whole supply. So discipline comes in. Discipline of the act of saving, which has to be instilled. We've talked about this by the parents, of course,
Right.
because they're not just going to figure it out. Delayed gratification. That I can put away something, to enjoy later. Right, I can postpone the satisfaction for right now to later. So if kids can, and general financial understanding, general financial literacy, it's key. But if they can understand, if they can be disciplined enough to do the act of putting the money away and delay their gratification till later on, I think they're on the path to building something, really substantial. Because I think I wrote something. I write a chapter every day. Now, I wrote something the other day. You have to stop financing your future today. That just means the money.
So you have to start.
You have to stop.
Stop
financing your future today. What I mean basically is, the money that should have gone towards saving and or investing.
Right.
You rather spending right now. So you rather buy, you rather go shopping or buy something online with $10 or $20 or $50 or $100, when it's money you could have confidently or
save it,
put away.
Yes.
Save it for and let it appreciate and all grow, so you can have a bigger amount tomorrow, so to speak. So you have to stop financing your future with today's dollars. Wow. Yep.
That's deep.
So there's a lot there, honestly, that I think we can do. And the age of 18 is so crucial. And yes, we're talking 18, and our kids right now need a lot of guiding. Most of us at 18 were figuring things out on our own. Honestly, most of us kind of figure things out on our own. I remember at 17, I traveled to Ghana alone to study. No parental supervision.
Wow.
No guidance. Nothing. I traveled at 17. And I stayed in Ghana for about 3 years alone. So we could figure things out.
Right.
If you're thrown in the middle of nowhere, you could figure things out. But we have to stop pretending that the kids right now have the same tolerance, resistance, emotional control as we did.
They're not.
They don't.
There's so much services out there that we think that, bringing you back to these statistics, which was our background, they were talking on the impact of artificial intelligence, how it has really compounded to this. That's also another topic on its own, that we can run a whole show on. My last question, as we are rounding up, I was fortunate to sit with a financial consultant. He mentioned something very important. He said, on the driver's side of your mirror, there's a writing. I don't know, I've been driving, but I don't pay attention. But when he said, I came back and I read, he says, the object that you see is way closer than you think. He was talking about retirement. He says, we think it far, but it's very, very close than you think. Let me ask you this question, okay? What does financial freedom actually looks in retirement?
Think of yourself, if you can paint a picture, think of yourself at a point in time when money is not an issue, when shopping is not a problem at all, when you can afford literally anything you want, to go anywhere you want to, when you can wake up from sleep whenever you want, when you can do things on your term. That's how freedom sounds and should look like, right? You're doing things on your term. You're free, and money is the least of your worries. Money is the least, if at all, it features in anywhere close to your worries. Now, if you can picture a life like that, then set up the structures right now to actually get there, right? We've touched on compounding, we've touched on time and the importance of starting early.
Right.
I don't know how, that analogy from the concept, it's on point. It's on point because you think retirement is so far off. And when you talk to an 18-year-old, they're like, nah, come on. That is
I haven't enjoyed my life yet.
In my 20s, I'm just 20. In my 40s, in my 30s, life is just getting started.
Right.
In my 40s, things are compounding, things are getting, kids and everything else.
Right.
Then you're 50. Then before you know it, you're 60. And for anyone listening to us who is already 50, even 60, you know what I'm talking about. You can close your eyes and recall when you were 20 or when you were 30. You didn't think you were going to get to 60 this fast.
Right.
You didn't think 60 was going to roll around this fast. I say this from an experience standpoint when I talk to people in their 60s and I ask them, you've been working since you were how old? Some of them since they were 20. And you don't have enough to sustain you for 2 years. You don't have enough to sustain you for 3 years. And the one thing that we cannot not touch on is this. The myth about retirement, or what most people don't take into consideration when they're planning for retirement. Let's touch on that for a little bit. Health, taxes, market performance,
inflation.
These are 4 very crucial things that most people ignore, but that can wipe out your plans of ever having that freedom you talked about earlier. Because the likelihood of you developing an illness when you're 50 is very high in the system we live in.
Yes.
And if you do not make provisions for that, you're going to depend on the little savings you put away for retirement to pay those medical bills. So you run out of money within a year or 2. Taxes. You put money away in portfolios that are tax deferred. 401ks, IRAs. You don't pay taxes right now.
Right.
But you're going to pay taxes later.
Yes.
I'll ask you a question. When is the right time to buy something? When the prices are cheap or when they're high?
When the prices are cheap.
When the prices are low. Okay.
Yes.
So, a question for you. Based on everything you know so far about the system we live in.
Right.
Do you think taxes are low right now or high?
Taxes are low right now.
They're low.
But
based on history.
Right. But down the line, let me give you a very real, I did something the other day. I had to dip into my 401k. I look at the taxes I'm going to pay for what I wanted to cash out. I told myself that I'm not going to take it. That is what prompted me to really tell us, like, I say, Mr. Bruno, let me sit down on your feet so that you break this down to me. And it's going to be, you remember in our last show, we talked about the vehicles that we really need to. When we're discussing on wealth and riches, we mentioned taxes.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to dwell on that in our subsequent show. So I looked at it. We think that you pay now, but taking it now, the hit that will take you down the line. I love those 4 aspects that you mention: health, inflation, taxes, and then we talk on important, because Cameron comes on as we grow. We start to depreciate health-wise, which is very, very important.
The 4th one, market fluctuation.
Market performance, which is very, very key. Very, very key. I looked at, I bought some bonds, and I was so pissed off the other day based on what they sent to me. And I was reading why. They were talking of like all this tariff. People don't know the impact. I was telling myself, let the bond really get mature, let me withdraw it. Because of the market, the uncertainty. And I said, if I was pushing this to be a 10-year bond, but I look at, they said, due to the uncertainty that the market is having, it's also making it difficult for the Federal Reserve to actually really bring some concrete decision. is very, very important. This topic, market fluctuation, is very, very key. It's something is so unpredictable and it has a very big impact. That's why those cars that we were mentioning, we're talking about real estate, we're talking about all those things, other investment that you can also use as a car to drive you towards your retirement. Yes.
Let me touch on the taxes. It's a huge part of your retirement journey that you cannot ignore. Now, brokerage accounts, which means you pay taxes at the end of the year. All right. Any interest you make or any profits you make, you expect to pay taxes at the end of that year. That's why you will get a 1099 from your brokerage company.
Yes.
Or your bank.
Right.
1099 from them. They want you to declare the interest you make. So I think the number is $10. Anything above $10 as interest you make from your bank, you have to declare taxes on. You have to pay taxes on it. And any interest you make from the stock market,
that's right,
you have to declare. You have to pay taxes on. So that's also a taxable account. So if you're going to plan on retirement and your vehicle is a taxable account, you're expected to pay taxes on it. Now, tax deferred. It basically says don't pay taxes right now. Pay taxes later. And when I teach, especially seminars, so I have a group of professionals, I bring a corn. I don't know how many of you listening know a corn.
Right.
And I say, I have two options for you. I can give you one seed of corn, and I tax you nothing right now. You go plant it,
and I tax you later.
And when it's time to harvest, I'm going to tell you how much of that. You plant one, you get the whole stick of it.
Right.
So I give you one. You don't pay me anything for it right now. Then when you plant it, and you water it and take care of it, then when it's time to harvest, I tell you what percentage of that stick belongs to me. It could be half, could be 20%, could be 40%, and you have no argument over it.
Right.
That's the contract. The second contract says, pay me what I'm due for this one seed of corn right now. And then go plant it. Then when it's time to harvest, it's all yours.
I take the second option.
In theory, everyone gets it right. In theory, everyone gets it right in theory. But in practice, most of us choose the first option every single day.
I rather stay tax-free here and then pay 20%.
Yeah, because everyone chooses the first option every day in your 401k, in your IRA, right? Because 401ks, TSP plans, 457, they're all tax-deferred portfolio.
Right.
So the IRA says, we're not going to tax you anything
right now.
Go invest it or put it away, and guess what? You're not even sure of how much you're going to get because it's dependent on the market, of course.
Yes.
Then when it's time when you retire, we're not going to put you in a tax bracket.
This is interesting.
We're going to put you in a tax bracket, and you have no idea what that tax bracket is going to be, by the way. We're going to determine when you retire. And guess what? Guess the basis of the determinant is how wealthy are you in terms of how much savings do you have, what is your net worth,
your assets,
your assets. That's what we're going to use to qualify you as in a 40% tax bracket or 20% tax bracket. So you end up getting a huge hit
at the end later.
Yeah. Now the other bucket is tax free. It means the money you're putting in that bucket is already taxed. So when you grow the money in that bucket, you can take the money out tax free. You're not taxed anymore. So you get other buckets. I mentioned 401k in tax deferred.
Yes.
Now, in the tax free bucket, you have Roth IRAs. You have insurance.
Right.
Life insurance, to be specific.
Right.
All right. These are buckets that grow your money tax free and can be distributed tax free as well. And that is why, they say if you want to be successful, study what successful people do. Mm-hmm. So when you start studying successful people, they maximize their tax-free buckets. I didn't say that's the only thing they use.
Yes, but they maximize. Yes, yes.
Most of their cash or most of their money
on that tax-free bucket.
Tax-free, because you want to minimize or eliminate taxes altogether.
As much as you can.
So, there are two types. There are the informed and the uninformed. So everyone else is aware of a Roth IRA, which is great. It grows your money tax-free. Awesome. Bonds do the same.
Yes.
Bonds can equally grow your money tax-free. but it's the mechanics of where is the 401k sitting? What are the limitations with the 401k? You can't touch the money until you're 59 and a half. You're dependent on the ups and downs of the market. So you compare that. When I started reading some books and doing a lot of research, then I learned life insurance is considered the rich man's Roth IRA. Because now you can dump hundreds, if not millions of dollars in life insurance, grow it tax-free, and get distributed money tax-free.
Let me time in here a little bit to bring you a statistics. I was reading it from Mass Mutual. Mass Mutual is it's a very renowned company in terms of life insurance and stuff like that. They said something. They said many people, I was looking in terms of retirement, many people are ignorant on the importance of life insurance because they think the term life insurance only apply to death, but they don't understand the impact of how life insurance governs and shape their retirement plan. Shed a little bit of light on that particular subject as we are wrapping this up.
It is true that when you mention the word life insurance, the only thing that comes to mind is death. But the wealthy have been using it for many years to build and accumulate wealth. Aside from the tax-free that I just mentioned earlier, is the fact that the money that accumulates in a life insurance is not dependent on market fluctuations. That's the type of life insurance, though.
Right.
Because there are VUL, like variable life insurances, which make money. Yeah. But most indexed life insurance, whole life insurance policies, you have a floor, which means your money is never affected by the market fluctuation. Right. And there are some advancements in other types of policies out there that add a living benefit to the life insurance.
Right.
So your life insurance doubles down as legacy. It doubles down as an accumulation vehicle. It equally doubles down as an income replacement when you fall sick. I say when, I didn't say if.
Right.
I say when because it could be
because
critical.
the probability is one.
Yeah.
That is surely
it's gonna
happen.
If it's not a critical, it's gonna be chronic. Chronic means you cannot do 2 out of 6 activities of daily living, which means it can happen naturally by just you getting old. So it's gonna happen. It's a fact, right? So it's whether or not you put a strategy in place. It's like knowing it's gonna rain, and you still walk out without an umbrella. You're gonna get wet. That is the only logical thing that can happen. And that is what happens that is where a lot of people still get it wrong. And it's coming from Mass Mutual, of course.
Yeah.
That is a statistic they have studied and they have seen that is reoccurring.
I know we are getting at the end of this show, but I want you to end with this one topic. No, I just want one advice. If you are sitting right now, if an 18-year-old is watching this video, you as a financial consultant, what's your advice? I want you to break it down in 3 ways. What he should do now, what he should avoid, and what he should stick with.
So you're probably going to remind me on the...
Yes.
So at 18 to about 20, I want you to heavily invest in education, financial education, not reading novels and comic books, financial education. Because I want you to understand the different aspects of finance, of wealth, of money, understand it. Because once you understand it, once I can get you to know why it's important, I don't need to chase you to do it. Once you have an understanding, right? Most kids rebel because we just tell them what to do. They don't know why they have to do it. And in this time and age, kids want to know why they're doing something.
That's true.
You don't just want to command and do it because I say so. No. They're like, why?
Why am I doing it?
So I want them to understand why. And that why can only come from self-education. With my help, of course, what books to read. So, first thing, my first recommendation is financial education first. Secondly, what to avoid. Misusing your credit card. I'm not going to say avoid credit cards because credit cards are important.
Very important.
Credit cards, credit score are important. So avoid misusing your credit. And if they did the education that I asked them to do it, they would know. right? So it's a ripple effect. I can't just skip to the second one.
Right.
So avoid misusing your credit card. Avoid bad debt. All right. Avoid instant gratification, and avoid the wrong crowd, the wrong association, the wrong environment.
You know, we have a show that is coming up on networking. So I know you are a master in that area, which
So that's number 2.
yes,
These are things they should avoid.
yes. What should they stick with?
What should they stick with?
That will pave their way at the age of 18, which they can take it all the way to their 60s.
Be a lifelong learner. Be open-minded. Be open-minded to learn, because they say that I love this quote. It says the illiterate of the 21st century is not someone who cannot read and write. It's someone who cannot learn,
Unlearn and relearn.
relearn. So if you're open-minded, if you develop that skill to be open to learning, that can serve you the rest of your life, right? And if you're eager to know, you say if you ask the right questions, you get the right answers. So if at 18 you can already understand that you can challenge status quo, which is question things. Don't just do things because you grew up understanding this how it's done. No. And it goes back to my second point. If you know why, right? And if you know why, you're going to stick with it. So have an open mind, delay gratification as much as you can. I'm not saying stop enjoying yourself. No.
Right.
I'm saying if you can discipline yourself to not use the money that is meant for saving for something else, you can do that. And then, of course,
You also mentioned about utilizing your credit, understanding good debt and bad debt.
Understanding good and bad debt. So that's a habit they want to keep doing. They want to keep and stick to, of course. And then saving and investing. Saving is for emergencies, rightly.
Investing is planning for
So you can use up your savings, and we can go into savings and divide the savings into different saving buckets. But saving is for that something short term, something that can be done. That is probably a couple of months to a couple of years. Investing is for the future. So save and invest. Develop those habits and stick with them, and they're going to serve you right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bruno. It was a very, very big pleasure having you. Dear viewers, once again, I was visiting with Mr. Bruno. He's a financial consultant. He's an author, motivational speaker, and he does counseling as well. So his bio will be listed in the description of this video. Thank you so much for taking our time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.